Tonight on the Buddy Martin Show, Tell It Like It Is Tuesday, we are joined by Rob Brown from SEC Sidelines, Brendan Martin of Gatorbait Media, and former Florida cornerback Quincy Wilson. We're going to talk the big win at LSU, just all thoughts on the playoff situation in college football and other things. All things tonight on Tell It Like It Is Tuesday on the Tuesday edition of the Buddy Martin Show.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday.
Buddy Martin, call him up and tell him what you're thinking, but be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Buddy Martin Show. I'm your host, Lauren Meadows, and tonight we'll be joined by Rob Brown of SEC Sidelines. There he is, a little technical difficulty, but we got Rob in the building. Big win by the Gators this weekend, 27-16 win over LSU, breaking a 5-game losing streak to the LSU Tigers. Big win. DJ Lagway returns, which seemed to give a boost to pretty much everybody in the building. Defense played well, 7 sacks of quarterback Garrett Nussmeier. And now we're in a situation where the Gators are 5-5, and after the big win, could there be an upset coming this weekend? Or, without the upset, could the Gators basically go bowling with a win at Florida State? Get to 6-6, and is Billy Napier now safe? Has he kind of fended off the Boo Birds for another year? But Rob, what did you think of Saturday's game?
I mean, it was impressive. We said on the show a few weeks ago, I felt like Florida would win two of the last 5 games. Gators would win 2 of the last 5. They damn near pulled off the win over Georgia. Then you start looking at who they got left. In this case, it was LSU. Then you've got, Ole Miss is going to be tough. And this is Lane Kiffin. He wants to be here, and Billy Napier, wants to beat him and say, hey, look, I can coach too. And Florida State. So I think the Gators, they're going to win 2 of these last 5. They could win 3 of them. But what we've been saying about DJ Lagway, he is physically, when you talk about great quarterbacks, Tim Tebow's strong physically, DJ Lagway strong physically, but his arm is a rare talent, and people will get tape on him. And Brendan and I talked about it this morning, but with him playing, the whole locker room starts to believe we can beat anybody we play. That's what great players do. You shake hands with them. They're electric, and that's what they've got. DJ Lagway is so much better than any other freshman quarterback out there. You just need to see it to believe it.
Yeah, you look at the way he played. The ability to play from the pocket. And, the beautiful thing about quarterbacks, Rob, and this is you can get film on a guy and he can be a pocket passer. You can see what he likes to do. What people don't realize is he is yet to really scratch the surface on his ability to run the football, escape, and those are things that you can't. You can try to plan for it, you could try to scout for it, but until you're in the moment and that thing gets loose on the outside, and you gotta bring that big dude down. It's a different thing. You saw it with Cam Newton when he was at Auburn, things like that, and his ability, like you said, the flick of the wrist. The one thing about the Elijah Badger throw late in the game is he had Chimera DK wide open. but chose to, they almost like to risk it, no biscuit, Bruce Arians,
Yeah.
and take the big throw, and he put it right on Badger, and it was a huge play. I mean, you look at, like you said, his infection, his ability to infect the entire team, make them play with fire, and like we talked about it last week, I think he's somebody that people are going to be beating down the door in Gainesville to come play with. And I think that's the thing that they have going for them. Now, even with Lagway playing, were you kind of surprised with the way the defense played, the fire that they played with having people banged up, guys like Pup Howard missing, Jason Marshall Jr., Devin Moore kind of having the makeshift secondary with Triquezi Bridges having to play corner? Or do you think that that's just the Lagway effect, even on the defense?
I think that's part of it, but LSU's offensive line, Pro Football Focus, has bragged about how good they are. Florida got 7 sacks. Ron Roberts, it takes a while to learn a new defense, and he's known for the creeper defense, but and he can be tough to be around. If you talk to people that have coached with him, he can be, but he gets results. But I said last week, I felt like if DJ Lagway was healthy, that Florida would absolutely be able to win this game. And I wasn't surprised at all. What was most impressive, Florida had the ball for 17 minutes and 49 seconds. We were listening to the game down in Auburn out at Lake Martin and then watching it on TV with everybody. Everybody watches everybody play. That's the funniest thing about, I don't care where you are, we're all watching each other. It's like having a family with, you're one and you've got 15 brothers and sisters. We all care, and we do. We care about each other too. But man, Lagway, the announcers when they watch him play are like, it's a level of play that you just don't see. And now I see why every Florida person just all in. And I don't know if Billy Napier, Florida's not going to fire Billy Napier.
No, I mean, and that's where we're going next. I mean, hit the like and subscribe button to subscribe to the YouTube channel. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're going now. So with this win, the LSU win, we had the vote of confidence, then not really good day there on Central Time in Austin. But then they come back and, Rob, I think it's less about the wins and losses, but more about the fact that this is a team that could have folded tent a long time ago. And we've seen it at every school in the country. But the fact that team has continued to be, just play with fire, really behind their head coach and playing well in big games, I think that just, it speaks volumes. Unfortunately, for those who don't want to see Billy Napier continue as head coach, the locker room is speaking loudly, and every week they outside of the Tennessee game, they've shown up basically since Mississippi State to play as hard as they possibly can for Billy Napier.
Well, Franz Beard said this emphatically a number of times on this show and on SEC Sidelines, our morning show on this channel. He's not lost the locker room, and that's something you just alluded to. Brendan talks about it. There's fatigue. And I read these comments. We've got very high football IQ, very smart viewers that watch these shows. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys this morning, I can't remember who it was. I think I knew who it was, but he said, even if we don't like Napier, it's okay to still love the Gators. And at the end of the day, that is a true statement. But it's nothing personal. I think what was getting Florida people upset was having 12 men on the field and not being able to, get on and off the field in timely fashion. It was stuff like that. And the fact that locker room is still there, the great things are going to come your way. LSU, I know that program pretty well. You do too. Go back 2 or 3 years ago. They only had 38 players dress out in a bowl game. That's just shameful. Frank Duffy's on our morning show, Mr. LSU Tiger. We have a lot of great people. Jacques Doucet, who ran into Brendan on the sidelines, covers LSU and down in Baton Rouge. no excuse for Brian Kelly to not have that team. And what was frustrating to me, the back talking, Kelly was wearing that player out on the sidelines. Really, after the first word or two, the player probably checked out. But I think the Gators, they've got a lot of tradition. Man, the crowd, and Brendan was right. That was like an old tent revival, the Gator fans. That's why the Swamp is so scary. And I can tell you, my Ole Miss friends up here, they know what they're going into. I'm just not sure they're prepared for what they're going into, because it is going to be basically batshit crazy environment at 12 noon. Big noon. We're going to take that because it's Eastern time zone. Big noon.
Yeah. And
Saturday.
And the thing about it is, I was there, obviously, Rob, I sit in the stands with the missus, not up in the press box, and it was loud. I mean, it really was loud. And somebody said to me today, they said that the crowd didn't seem to be engaged. And I'm like, where were you sitting in the stadium? Because from what I saw, I mean, when they played Tom Petty, We Won't Back Down. I mean, it was, it was just Won't Back Down was coming. The crowd was electric. I mean, and I mean, it was unbelievable. And I mean, we talk about not backing down. Our sponsor, Meldon Law, the only official injury law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Meldon Law, just like the Florida Gators on Saturday, won't back down. And we talk about a lot. See them for all of your legal needs and what you may need going forward. If you have an injury concern, that's one thing. But anything else you may need legally, they can put you in the right place. And, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and they get you in the right place for some tickets to everything from the theater to Florida events, just all around. I saw Meldon earlier tonight at the basketball game. Florida beat Florida A&M 84-60, by the way. And with that, speaking of Florida Gators, we welcome in former All-SEC quarterback, second-round draft pick at Indianapolis Colts in 2017, a gentleman that was part of one of the bigger Florida wins against LSU, 2016, the Hurricane Matthew game. Welcome in, Quincy Wilson. Thanks for joining us, Quincy. How you doing?
For sure, I'm good. How you doing?
All right, man. I know you back in Gainesville, working on your degree, kind of getting that sewed up. Just tell us how has it been being back in Gainesville and what's going on around the Gator football team?
It's been great, man. Finally coming back and finishing that degree, something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I finally had some time to do it. And I'm getting a chance to be around the football team now and just drop my little 2 bits here and there and just give them anything that I can to help them get to be successful on Saturdays. And it's just been a real good learning process, learning from the coaches and just being a sponge, honestly, and just soaking up what I can and just giving back anything I can also to the guys that just help them go through what they're going through, because I've been through it, so I can definitely help guide them through it a little better. And
we talk about you and I talked 2 or 3 weeks ago, and you looked at me and said it's gonna get right. We're gonna get it together.
Yeah.
And what did you see? What have you seen from Billy Napier? You are around the team on a consistent basis. What are you seeing that would maybe give our listeners, our viewers, hope for the fact that this thing is going in the right direction? And you've been through it, like you said. So what have you seen that really gives people hope and the belief that Billy Napier is the right guy to get this thing done and the program is going in the right direction?
Honestly, I think it just took a while for the coaching staff and the team also to kind of get to know themselves. Because as you've seen, as the season's gone on, we've had a number of other guys step up and make plays. We got a freshman quarterback, we got a freshman running back. We've had some cornerbacks go down, and we've had other guys step up. So I think Billy's definitely doing a good job keeping everybody on task. Although we've had some bumps, some losses that were ugly or whatnot. And so I think the biggest thing he's been able to do is to keep the team focused, because there can be a lot of noise about this and that and the coach and, you know, a lot of noise outside the building, but he's done a good job keeping the guys focused and just trying to get prepared every week for a game. And I think they put it all together best this past weekend.
I think one of the things that's been most impressive is, and have you ever seen a college secondary this banged up? I mean, what is the message in that group where they just, just kind of down to really the fifth and sixth corners, and they lost Cormani. They didn't have Cormani available for this weekend. I know you talked to those guys. Just what has been their message or their preparation with one another? I mean, LSU has some dudes at receiver. I mean, what are they just consistently talking about amongst each other? Maybe with you on the sideline at practice, things like that. That it just continues that allows them to continue to play well.
I think it doesn't really matter at the University of Florida when we're down 3 or 4 or 5 cornerbacks, because we always keep 3 or 4 or 5 stars, 4 stars. You know what I'm saying? We got guys that could play. That it's just the model we keep at Florida. And I think the biggest thing that we reiterate to the guys is just next man up. And, you know, because you'll have guys that are starting, but you guys on the bench that also feel like they can play. You know, like when I was in school, when Vernon Hargraves and Tees are on the field, I'm not on the field, and I know I can play. So it's just next man up. And I think that's the motivation that everyone gets, seeing that you're going to get your chance. And then when you get your chance, you can make your plays, like how Cormani came in and made his plays, how Didi's coming in and making his plays now. You know, how Demo came in and got a few interceptions before he got hurt. So I think guys are seeing that there's plays to be made and it's fun out there. You know, like when Didi had that 4th down stop early in the game and it got loud, like it's fun to make plays, like and it's out there. You just got to go do it.
Absolutely. Say hello to Rob Brown. He's an Auburn guy, but all around SEC guy. Rob, what you got for Quincy?
I want to ask Quincy, first off, it's great to be on here with you. And a couple of my friends are watching. My son and Oakley McFerrin, he's the biggest Steelers fan in the world. I was actually in Auburn Sunday and went by. My son was over at his place in Auburn before we came back to Memphis. He had a Steelers, the Immaculate Reception jersey that they came up with. Yeah. But wow. In 6 years you played in the league. And I got to ask you the amount, and I remember talking to Jason Campbell. He said when he left Auburn as the first-round pick with the Redskins, he said, I thought I studied a lot in college. I'd get home from practice, take a shower, eat a sandwich. And there's 50 pages of notes faxed to me. The daily grind. Talk about life, how it prepared you playing it in Florida. And I'm with you because you're from Fort Lauderdale. I know that Dillard program really well. I think Auburn's had 23 players from Dillard over the years. But what's it like day in and day out? And you mentioned these defensive backs at Florida. And I'm watching it. We do a show on this channel covering the whole conference every day. I look at Florida just as an Auburn guy. Y'all always have tons of great football players, but track and field makes it even more special.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, what was the question, by the way?
Yeah, I got kind of carried away. But really, how much did it prepare you for life in the NFL playing in the SEC at a program like Florida? And then I want your thoughts after that about DJ Lagway. The more he plays, the more tape opponents have on him. But I just think he's special, and I want your thoughts on him.
Yeah, I would say playing in SEC definitely prepares you for the biggest heights in the NFL, because, when I was in school, you had my freshman year, you had Todd Gurley, Sony Michel, and Nick Chubb. You at LSU, you had Leonard Fournette, you had Derrick Henry. You know what I'm saying? So at Tennessee, you had Alvin Kamara. So it definitely prepares you for the NFL caliber type guy. And then, going against Alabama, every time you play Alabama, I played Alabama all 3 of my years. So that's an NFL game. You got Calvin Ridley out there. You got Kenyon Drake out there. You got, endless guys that can really test you. You know what I'm saying? So I think playing in the SEC definitely gets you ready, because as you see now, the top receivers in the league are from LSU. So when you're in the SEC, you're getting a chance to go against guys that are going to be the top guys in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like Alabama puts out countless guys that are top in their game. You know, Florida's got guys, Georgia's got guys like. So I think playing in the SEC definitely prepares you for the kind of competition that you're going to see in the NFL, because those SEC, you guys see the playoff rankings. SEC is always top, and then you got Georgia, you got Ole Miss, you got Florida. Like those are all the schools that kids want to go to and play on TV and make plays. So I think playing in the SEC definitely, I think, you know, bias or not, I think like you're definitely gonna be prepared to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
And then what about Lagway? What's your thoughts on seeing him on a consistent basis? Where you think he can go?
I mean, I think sky's the limit for the kid. You know, I mean, being so young and you guys know the kind of games you play in the SEC, and to be able to come in as a freshman and just come in and rock the games like that, that's it's superstar. It's just the making of a superstar. You know what I'm saying? You come in and almost beat Tennessee. It's looking like we're going to beat Georgia, and then you come in and have a strong victory against LSU. I mean, it's looking good. And I know guys talk about the tape, but he's such a well put together player, and he's only going to get smarter, and we're only going to get more better guys to come play with him. So I mean, that's fine that there's tape. You got to stop it.
Right, and that's what I said. I said, you know, it's tough to prepare for the legs. You know, you can see him throw and how he likes to read, but those legs is, I mean, he hadn't even scratched the surface on his ability as a runner yet, and you know, that's where I think. Now, let me ask you this: you're the son of a coach. Is it something that's in the future? You've been hanging around. Is that something we working toward? What's your degree? What are you working? What's your degree in?
My degree's in sociology.
Okay.
So I'm just taking all my classes now to get my degree and hopefully move forward as a coach. So
okay. I was gonna say, I know it's in your blood and that
course,
kind of thing, but
my dad was a coach my whole life, so I definitely, it's in me.
Okay, take us back to 2016, Hurricane Matthew, and just the way that game. I mean, not only was it moving the game from Gainesville to Baton Rouge, but then it got a little hot before the game and a little chippy, you know, and some punches thrown, and then just the way that game was played, very physical game. You know, Austin Appleby, super guy, by the way. I mean, one of the coolest dudes. I mean, you talk about a guy that, you know, I mean, I've met him before, but I mean, the throw to Cleveland, and then were you on the field for the goal line stand or no?
Oh, yeah. I was trying to pick up the phone, but he actually fumbled it.
Yeah. So but talk to us about that whole week and then the game as well.
Yeah, so I remember like leading up to the game, they were talking about how it was might be postponed, might have to change it, and honestly, we all were like, man, hell yeah, let's go to LSU. You know, back in the day, man, we had some crazy guys, bro. Like we don't care where you put that ball down at, it could be anywhere, bro. So the fact that we were going into LSU and it's hostile, like we lived for that. So I think we were kind of hyped the fact that we were going to LSU, and then the fact that they were getting 2 back-to-back home games in 2 years, we were just like, oh yeah, like it's a perfect storm to go in there and spoil it for them. But before the game, you know, guys like to do like petty stuff and warm up on your side and do all that kind of goofy nonsense. I can't remember who it was, but they were warming up on our side, and few guys on our team were just like walking around them and whatnot. So I hopped up there and just did my drill and ran straight into him. And, you know, he wanted to talk this and that about what he going to do, this, that. And it's just a whole crowd came over and, you know, things got emotional. And Fournette talking about, oh, I'm going to play now. And, all right, bro, come on, you can play too. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? But we went in there and I think we just rallied as a team. And, like you said, that one play with Cleveland, like that was amazing. I mean, but Austin Appleby, if you really know him, he got balls too. Like he don't care. You saw how he came out Tennessee game just trying to throw it deep, like you know what I'm saying. So I think that game was just a real. I think we just came together as a team. It was almost like the win this weekend. Like everything just clicked, and we all were together as a team and just fought for the common goal, and just I just it was just a good. That's how you play Gators football right there. You know what I'm saying? Just a real defensive victory, and you just stomping them out. So I just feel like that was how that went, and it was definitely one for the books.
Right. Take us in the huddle, that last play. This is
Yeah, I
it.
mean,
If we get this one, we go to the SEC championship game.
yeah,
What was just? I mean, what take us into the conversations? Like you said, you guys have some dudes. So you got the
yeah, I mean,
Roshan Josephs and all those. What is
yeah.
the conversation? During that. I mean, that right before that ball, right before the snap.
I mean, it's a familiar feeling because back then when we were in school, we were known for putting up those goal line stops. So like, whereas in other situations, you know how you watch games and you kind of have this fear that the team might get in, but it was almost like we all were just like, man, they're not getting in here, and we know it. So it's just like we were just mad confident. Like 2016 was just a year of just everybody confident. You can tell like no one hesitated. We all were just firing. Everyone was firing on all cylinders. Like, and it was just something we never believed. We always believed we would win the game. We always believed we would make the play, and it always went out there and showed them. It was all of this was built every day in practice, though. This is all the things that we did in practice, and just stress to each other, and just
that's awesome.
It all comes together on Saturdays,
right? And like you mentioned, last Saturday's game had a lot of that feel to it for sure. Kind of out of the blue, you guys going there, really nobody giving you a chance because the game was at LSU, and coming out with a defensive win. Just like on Saturday. Sure. Rob, what you got?
No, I like what you just said. That LSU Florida rivalry is a damn good rivalry. People say it's sneaky good, but I remember those games you're talking about, and I remember the post game after the hurricane. It was Florida was jacked up. You should have been. When you're watching these guys play, when you're at practice right now, and you're out there seeing them, you look at the recruiting. Everybody wants to come in. They want to play right away. New defensive coordinator comes in. How long does it typically take to learn that new defense to where you're really reacting versus having to think a lot?
Man, I'd say it depends for a young guy, because like I'm not sure like what kind of defenses they ran in high school and what the extent of their like football knowledge is, but I'd say anything to really grasp takes 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, like we know how to play man concepts, cover 3 concepts, but really the ins and outs and how. And really it's the chemistry and how to play with the safety and where he's going to be, where's the linebacker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like anything, like a quarterback and receiver. Like, of course he knows how to run a slant route, but you know what I'm saying? There's a lot more to it. If you get what I mean. Yeah.
Because you see, like Bill Oliver coached a long time in the SEC. Brother Oliver, I think he's had a philosophy called interchangeability, and every now and then you would see them blitz 10 or 11 guys, which is pretty risky. But if you're a defensive player, you'd have to love a coach that had that much faith in you, wouldn't you?
Right. I've played on some teams that'll send just zero blitz like that, but I think there's a certain way to coach it, and if you don't have the right coach coaching you to have your eyes in the right place, like those kind of defenses can get tricky. But I've been some places where they teach you to look at the right things and you key the right things, and it can be successful, because I know you see there's a couple guys in the NFL like Brian Flores that'll send that max pressure, but he's a Patriot guy, Dolphin guy, so he's got it coached up the right way. You know what I mean? So yeah. Definitely like it if you know what you're talking about. Don't just
Lauren. I think it's pretty obvious he's going to be coaching.
No doubt. I mean, you can see it, and I've had a chance to talk to his dad before. I mean, definitely, they got it in them, definitely for sure. I mean, it's and I mean, I would encourage you, Quincy.
Yes.
You seem to have a nice head on your shoulders, man. I mean, you're getting the sociology degree, so you'll be able to mind meld these kids and get to know them. But definitely, man. I mean, it's good to see you around the game. You and T's both.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to see you guys coming back. Is that something that Billy Napier's really encouraged you guys, or is that you just kind of came in, or was that something that he said, "Hey, you guys on campus, we want you around"? I mean, we've heard that he's been real good about guys coming back, but you guys seem to be there quite a bit. Is that something he's really encouraged, or?
Yeah, it was kind of the idea to start doing this was something Tease and I came up with, and then once we got there, Billy Napier really welcomed us in and just wanted us to be around the guys and just really like help them understand the culture and just be that extra piece in the locker room that can help. Because like if I can put myself in their shoes, that would be like Keywan Ratliff coming around. You know what I mean? Janoris Jenkins, Joe Hayden, or somebody that's like, I want to be all ears to this kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, so I definitely feel like there's definitely a positive element so that Tease and I are around that's giving off to the guys and just helping the ultimate goal is trying to win on Saturday.
Right. Shout out to Keywan Ratliff, Southwest Ohio. That's how we do. But so a couple quick hitters. Favorite all time favorite Florida teammate.
All time favorite Florida teammate.
Man, that's tough.
Man, I'd have to say my last roommate, CeCe Jefferson. That's my that's my boy.
Okay.
That's my boy.
He's doing some coaching now, right?
Yeah, I seen him on Snapchat. I think he got 2 kids now. His son's growing up. I think he's coaching his son.
Okay.
He's doing good though. He's doing
Sounds good. Most memorable Florida Gator moment.
Most memorable Florida Gator moment. I want to say my interception on Jameis Winston because my dad's a Cane. I'm a Gator and I hate FSU. Like hate them. So yeah, definitely an interception on FSU for sure is that's definitely my favorite Gator moment.
All right. Favorite NFL city.
Favorite NFL city is definitely New York. I played for the Jets and the Giants. I go back.
Okay. It's expensive there, though. They get in your
pockets. It
is. You got 2 hours in a car. Give me the soundtrack.
The soundtrack. Probably listen to Futures. Anything Future.
Okay. New school.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Man, we really appreciate having you on, Rob. You got anything else before we let him go?
If you were in Pittsburgh tonight and you went in the warehouse district, would you go to Permane Brothers and get you one of those damn sandwiches?
Oh man, I definitely would, bro. Oh my God, when I was up there for the 2 months I was up there, I definitely went to Permane Brothers, bro. They definitely got some. They doing some good stuff in there. Shout out to them.
Man, so it's funny. The last Florida Auburn game, I watched that game. My father was a big Steelers fan. I took my father to a Steelers game, and we watched the Florida Auburn game at Permane Brothers down by Pitt. We're down by Pitt in that area. So that was so we saw P. Ryan's run was right there, and some dude kept trying to change to the Nebraska game for some reason. I'm like, Florida Auburn is on. So, but hey, man, yeah, right. One more thing, and then we'll throw it out to see if you know your football. So, who you got this weekend? Indiana or Ohio State? That's really the only big game this weekend.
And I'm going with Ohio State, man. They got a young guy from down my way at receiver.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. God. I like him to keep doing what he's doing.
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, they got some quarterback issues. I don't know. We'll see, but he getting it to him. So that'll be good, man.
They keep the rock in his hands. I think they'll be all right.
Yeah, you buying Indiana long term though, or you?
Man, I don't know, bro. They must got a good NIL department going on over there. Man, I've been to Indiana. I mean, I don't want to hate on them, but I probably ain't going back anytime soon.
Right, no doubt, man. Well, hey, it was great having you on, man. Appreciate you. Bro. Anytime you want to come back, we'd love to have you, man, as you progress in your journey. And like I said, definitely, man, encourage you to do the coaching thing. And I'll see you Saturday.
Nah, for sure, I will. Thank
All
you,
right,
bro.
man.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good meeting you, Rob. Good
Nice
talking
to meet you.
All right, man.
Same
Yeah,
here.
bro.
Hey, he needs
Take
to get
care.
into coaching, and he's getting your degree. That's impressive as hell. I love that.
Oh yeah.
For sure, man.
Doing this thing.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Take care, you guys.
All right, man.
You too. Thank you. Let's see.
So yeah, so I mean, for all our viewers and listeners, we endeavor to have guests that could just bring clarity to this thing that we call football, and having Quincy, one of the good guys. He and I have had a lot of conversations after the games and things like that, and you just hear Rob. It's funny, despite what we see on Saturdays, and we try to be fair. Billy Napier's got something, man, and he's grabbing a lot of people here, and you see snippets like we saw on Saturday of what could be a good football team. And I think they have 17 or 22 starters coming back next year. And like we talked about last week, people are going to be beating down the door, I think, to come play with DJ Lagway. And I think that's one of the reasons where, barring a disastrous loss in Tallahassee, or maybe a loss at all, and maybe that's something to discuss. If Billy Napier plays well against Ole Miss, loses, goes and beats Florida State, I mean, I don't see any reason why Florida wouldn't continue on with what they have and his relationship with his quarterback, who is going to be one of the premier signal callers in the SEC next year, staying with it.
I mean, obviously, and Billy Napier, when he got the Florida job, I did think it was a great hire. And then you start losing games, and too many guys on the field and stuff. People do get hypercritical, but just hearing what Quincy Wilson said, when you start inviting the former players to come back to be part of the team and to mentor the guys on the team and talk about what he just alluded to, the Florida culture, that's a big deal. And he definitely needs to get into coaching. I mean, that guy, 6 years in the NFL, that's impressive right there. Comes back to get his degree. Hell, a Florida degree is worth a hell of a lot. A lot.
No doubt.
Yeah, especially now.
No doubt.
Yeah. No question. But hey, that's fun talking to him. He seems like he knows what's going on at Florida, Lauren. I mean, you get a chance to talk to these, and so does Brendan.
Yeah, I mean, we had a conversation, long. I'm going to say maybe it was after Texas A&M, and he was just like, and I said, "Hey man, how you doing? This, that, and other." And he said, it's some good stuff going on. I mean, for lack of a better, I mean, he was just, very positive. And I said, "You think so?" And he said, "Yeah, man." He said, and it was almost like, I've been there before. I know what's going on, and it was one of those things where, I mean, it resonates, because you talk to guys even after the Texas game. We were out there, and you listen to Chimera DK and Shamar James, and they're like, "We believe in Coach Napier. We believe in what we're doing. We got to play better." But they believe in what, I mean, and I think that's the one thing, is they haven't tuned him off. And I think that's one of the things, that whatever he's doing is resonating. You even see in the locker room, they really like their football coach. And I think that's one of the things that, it's a, you could just see it. I mean, the Instagram, and Napier's on there doing the gritty and pointing in the camera. I mean, he, it frustrates me, because I wish we could maybe see some of that in the press conference and things like that. But within that Hefner Center, I mean, it's something that's really coming, full view. And that, I think that's why he got the vote of confidence. And, he and Lagway are thick as thieves, from what I understand. I mean, I was told by several guys that are with him on a consistent basis. And I mean, they are tight. And so, I mean, I think going forward, I mean, I think it's barring disaster in Tallahassee, I just think it's a done deal. And whether you like it or not, get used to it. And the fact that they have 17 starters coming back, I was told this weekend that there is money, that Florida is understanding this whole NIL thing now, And so there is money that is going to be put aside for what I would call the Ole Miss model, so to speak, where you bring in some plug and play guys right now. And, and I think that's something that they're going to try to lean on going into next year, because, I mean, I think it's 8 wins or bust, and we're going to talk about that all off season. But I think that's something that, with the ability to make the playoff with maybe 3 losses with that schedule, I think 3 losses, if they go 9-3, it would be like, hey, you throw a Tennessee win in there, they would be in the hunt, I think, with 4 losses. I mean, I think it's just because the schedule has been that difficult. And I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying with that schedule, a 3-loss Florida team could be looking at a back end playoff spot, I think, with that schedule.
I want to throw something at you, and the Blue Chip Index has Florida coming into this season number 9 in the country, and that's a measure on a 4-year cycle of 4- and 5-star players on your roster. And then the 24/7 composite index has the Gators at number 12. There's talent on this roster, but I think, and I'm reading the comments of people, yeah, you get frustrated, but football teams are like stocks that dip. And if they've got a strong pipeline of talent coming in and solid coaching, and that's why I asked that question. It takes time to learn a new system. You can't keep getting rid of coaches. Look at Shane Beamer, what he's doing at South Carolina. His father, it took him 6 years to get going at Virginia Tech. He had a 2-9 season, a 2-10 in there, like his 4th year. They stuck with him, worked out. I can't predict the future, but just knowing this Florida program as a rival, you get the right person in there. It's like the wind at your back, and it's
I guess
too many players in the state.
I guess my question is really, first of all, I'm always glad when the Gators win. I'm a Gator fan.
Absolutely.
I love the Gators. I'm not trying, and I have been actually very quiet this entire time. I have not, well, maybe with you, Lauren, but on Rob's show, I have not, especially when things started to go really south, I have tried not to pile on in the process, because
and
I'm trying to be educated. I don't want to just sit there and blast a guy.
Well, and before you go further, Brendan, you did play football. You have played, and you played.
Yeah, my dad is Buddy Martin,
right? So, and you didn't play.
I kind of been around the sport,
right? Absolutely. So that's what I'm gonna give you some. I'm gonna read your resume before you go in. Go ahead.
I did work in TV trucks for 15 years, and I worked for the NFL even, and did slow motion replays. So
there you go.
I've been around the sport a little bit.
Absolutely.
So I guess I always want, and I saw the cohesiveness, and I saw things start to gel, and that was exciting. I did see some of, I'm talking about the game against LSU. I did see some of these penalties start to come into play, some of the dumb penalties that, you hold your breath. But what I saw, which was different at the end of the game, because I was on the field, obviously, and I walked up to Chris Spears, a photographer, and he does a million other things. He's a very successful guy, but Chris Spears takes pictures for us. And I saw him, he goes, and I said, so what'd you think? And he said, it's just, it is a huge sense of relief on the football field right now. And there was and I love that no one stormed the field. I thought that was classy. It shows that there is class for Gator fan. We've been here. Correct. Let's not storm the field just for beating an okay LSU team.
Right.
So, and I thought, and there was some jack-offs that tried, but there was more security there than I've ever seen, which is good. But that being said, there was a huge sense of the monkey is off our back, right? We and I don't know, call it the feeling of the curse is broken, or all these things that people want to throw out there, but I can't really describe it other than if there was a fan base that needed a win, it was the Florida Gator fan base. I know the Florida Gators needed a win, but the fan base, lifelong Gators that slug it out, no matter if you're there or not, a player, coach, or whatever, that was a win for the fans on Saturday, which was really a neat thing. And I think that's an exciting piece of momentum. Now, with that being said, going forward, yes, there's tape on Lagway. Yes, I think he will overcome. I think he's just going to beat you no matter what. The question, now remains, can he put 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 together? And that's what's hard to me playing in the SEC and playing at this level, is that each week you really gotta strap it on.
I think the big thing for them is going to be the fact that, at least from an offensive standpoint, is if they can continue to run the football to a serviceable degree.
Right.
I think that's where it's going to be, because I'm not sure Lagway is ever going to beat you throwing the ball 50 times, 40. I think his good number
he has to start
right.
He's
threat
eventually.
Absolutely.
You can defend that.
Right. But what I'm saying is, I think if they can run the ball, it keeps him in the sweet spot of 20 to 30 throws a game.
Okay.
And I think that's where his sweet spot is. So they, and I'm not talking about the next 2 games. I'm talking about as he continues to progress, is if he can be, 7 to 8 design runs, then you toss it to Barr, you toss it to Jackson, you toss it to Trayon Webb, and you do all that, then you got 8 design runs, and then he's in that sweet spot where you should run 70 plays a game. He's in that sweet spot of 20 to 30 throws. I think that's where he's going to be. And like you said, Brendan, then you got the 8 designed, and then he drops back 25 to 30. And let's say he takes off 3 to 5 of those. Now, like you said, he affects the game with his legs. And I think that's where he's going to be. Now, where I think the biggest thing is, it has to happen. Going forward with, I think, the young talent that they have on defense, I think you could see a huge jump and a huge progression in maybe the way the defense plays. Because I think if they get a serviceable defense, I think it's 9 wins to be had next year, at least.
Yeah.
And that's because I do think they're going to get some grown men to come in here and play for the University of Florida, because they are going to want to play for DJ Lagway. And I've been told, and I use this example, but I've been told that there is already a guy that is waiting in the wings, so to speak, that has already said, I can raise my draft stock by blocking for DJ Lagway. So that was a quote from someone who's at another school, Yeah. And so guys are going to want to come and protect and catch balls from him.
And you know what? But that has its own set of problems as a coach, as you know as well.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
You have too many superstars in one room, and everybody wants the action. I mean, look, there's a whole host of things that come and go with that. I don't think Billy has a problem managing that. I think managing people is his specialty. I think he's very, very good at motivating and managing people, and people like him, obviously, and they want to play for him and they want to stay, which is really important. And that's an intangible that you can't find in look, Dan Mullen's not a very fun guy to be around. No offense. He's kind of quirky. His wife will tell you, but and she was the reason that he became normal. So,
right. No, she's fun to be around.
She's fun to be around. She's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so
shout out to Megan Muller.
Right. Exactly. She's great. She's a wonderful person. So and so is he. I'm joking around, but I'm just saying, end of the day, like it is, I want to be hopeful, and I am hopeful. And I think that there is so much exciting things going on. And I think, yes, everything's going this direction, in the right direction. I just hope everyone can hang on, because, if you go out and don't find another win, and if you can't beat Florida State, and, things go a little inconsistently wrong, or Lagway gets hurt because, maybe he, maybe gotten us, wanted to run him too many times, there's no one really back there in the number 2 spot that's going to do anything. And I think this season doesn't really matter as much, as we've already determined, but really it's about seeing that progression. Has Billy secured his job for 2025? Absolutely. You would be dumb not to, especially with all the recruiting coming in. And as long as he can beat Florida State, which I think is very doable, even though you got to go to Tallahassee, I think I think he's going to be in an okay spot.
All right, Rob, what do you think?
Well, I think Florida State is a perfect example. When 31 guys quit on your team and don't show up for the bowl game, you've got a cancer culture in your locker room and you're doomed. And then they went out and they blew it in the NIL. I talked with the father of Mike Norvell's agent last night. We were, listen, they've got a mess. Florida, on the other hand, Florida is the flagship university of the state. Got what Brendan says, 6.5, 7 million fan base. You've got 90,000 plus at every game at the Swamp, and you've got a quarterback that gives you hope. The thing about DJ Lagway is, like any other quarterback, just you got to know when not to take hits. Extend your career.
Do you think Billy's learned from AR? Either one of you? Do you think
learned from AR?
Well, just learning how to keep a guy healthy. That's that style of quarterback.
See, I don't think that. I think you recruited the guy for a reason, and I'm talking about Lagway. You recruited him for a reason. He is a dual threat guy. If he gets
hurt, you can't. He's the reason you're winning.
You can't. I don't think you can call plays that way, Brendan. As somebody who's called plays before.
He was.
No. Oh, Saturday, I don't think he could run. So that was the other thing. It was getting him. So I think that's a misnomer. Maybe the fact that I don't think Lagway could move. So he knew he had to keep it in the pocket, and the edict was to keep him clean. Right. Going forward, and I'm not talking going forward the next 2 weeks. I'm talking about going forward next year when they open up against South Florida, Florida A&M, going to Miami. They got to turn him loose. It's got to be like, you got them dogs and sick them. I mean, you got to be. You recruited him because he can affect the game.
Yeah,
with both his
I don't
arm
say
and
you
leg.
don't. You don't obviously take away his talent. I'd be ridiculous. I'm just saying. We're talking about this year. We're talking about Ole Miss this Saturday. I mean, look, can we if we bring focus, where's Billy get this other win? If he doesn't get it against Florida State, is there another place?
Well, no, there's not. He's got it. I mean, he can get it this weekend, but who knows? I don't like comparative analysis, but you look at Ole Miss's 2 losses are the teams Florida beat.
Well,
you could be like,
Nancy
but I
Porter
think
from Rebel Yell today said that, man, Billy's got this on his calendar. Like everyone's talking about Lane Kiffin replacing him, and right, Rob?
Well, yeah, he did, and remember, the win over Georgia is the biggest win in Lane Kiffin's career, and his record. And Georgia, I'm going to guess, is going to win at least 9 games this year. With that win over Georgia, that gives him 4 wins and 20 losses against teams that finish the season with 9 wins or more. I think Ole Miss, it was admitted, apparently, I think they talked, I heard it last night. Yeah, we were talking last night at the Touchdown Club. A reporter that had said Kiffin was flirting with Auburn a few years ago. Finally, it was proven that he did because Kiffin gave him a hard time. But bottom line, like Yancey Porter said this morning, Rebel Yell Hotline on the show, he's got this game circled. Billy Napier does, to prove y'all want Kiffin? Really? I got a lot of Ole Miss friends. They are dreading this trip to the Swamp. It's a terrible, you can call it a trap game or whatever, but Florida's trending up. Ole Miss had a week off after the big win over Georgia. They're going to be playing, it's kill or be killed for them. They lose, they're not getting in the playoffs. They've got to win. I hadn't made my pick on this game yet, but DJ Lagway didn't run last week. That hamstring's probably stronger than it was. And if he's running and passing, and remember, LSU ran 92 plays. And Brendan, you said they beat an okay LSU team. It's still LSU. And I'm looking at the talent index 24/7. They're number 8 in the country. Brian Kelly's got to learn how to not – you don't argue with players. Y'all know this. And I got kids. The second word out of your mouth after it, you're going down. I wouldn't put up with it. I would not put up for 2 seconds with a player talking back to me as a head coach. Kelly's lost control. It looks to me like he's lost control. He gets so angry and upset. And Billy Napier, man, he's cool hand Luke over there. It's just got to get better organized. But I think Florida has a really good chance to beat Ole Miss Saturday.
All right. And we want to talk about Titan MRI, Gainesville, Lake City's newest MRI facility. Make you feel comfortable. Insurance, no insurance, basically the place to be. Titan MRI, Gainesville and Lake City's newest MRI facility. Your medical provider will contact about us making any appointment for you. And the hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturday by appointment, evenings after 5 p.m. by appointment as well. So very accommodating for your Titan MRI. What I want to get to on the way out, guys, and we be doing a disservice because we're basically in week 11. The third college football rankings came out, and they are as follows: Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, Indiana, Notre Dame, Alabama, Miami, Ole Miss, number 9, Georgia, Tennessee, Boise State, SMU, and here's an asterisk. BYU is 14th, but BYU is the number 12 seed no matter what if they stay where they are because they're the 5th highest ranked conference champion. Anything stick out to you in those rankings?
Brendan, you and I talk about it every day. 80% of the TV sets in America live in the geographical footprint that is the Big Ten. Mm-hmm. And damn, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana. And then you got all those guys that look like Archie Bunker sitting in their recliner wearing white socks drinking PBR. That's the Big Ten, man. It's guys like that coast to coast. They all got a picture of Woody Hayes on the wall next to Jesus. It's a tough crowd, but they are appealing to that Big Ten TV market. And the SEC is getting squeezed here. Are you kidding me? Texas, and they were manhandled by Georgia.
I think it looks like what it probably normally looks like at this time of year. It's always goofy and it always sorts out. And I know everyone hates the conference games. I get it. Like, I know, like, but you mean
the conference championships?
Excuse me, conference championships. Yeah. And I get it. But if you're an SEC person, I think it's always going to matter because it matters to win the SEC. So y'all don't have to play it. We'll play the extra game anyway because y'all suck anyway. What do I think about it? I go through the top. This is what I think. Oregon, overrated. Ohio State doesn't play anybody. Texas, give me a break. Penn State, I mean, stop it. Indiana, I like you. A top 60 team win. I don't even think they have a top win in the top.
No,
one.
they don't.
Zero.
Notre Dame.
Seven of the worst 8 teams in an 18-team league.
Yeah, Notre Dame. I mean, come on, dude. Their contract with NBC has kept them alive for way too long. Go to Alabama. I mean, I think Alabama's better than sort of a lot of ways.
So, are we buying Notre Dame's win in College Station, or is that a thing of the past?
I'm not.
Okay.
Just because I'm not convinced about A&M. So,
okay.
But I mean, that's just me. Be honest with you, and this is going to get me a lot of shit, but this is the truth. and is that I really like 2 teams, and they're 13 and 14. I like BYU and I like SMU, and I like BYU for a couple of reasons. One, I'm from that area in Colorado and out there, and I know BYU, first of all, is a gorgeous campus, great school as far as academics, and they have a shit ton of money, like more money than God, literally. And because people don't understand, the Mormons are in Coca-Cola, they're in huge corporate
Florida.
No, I'm talking.
No,
BYU.
they're in Florida.
BYU.
The Mormons own like a ton of cattle farms in Florida.
Yeah.
Well, there's 15 million.
Yeah, they
Mormons.
do, but they own. But Utah.
No, I know what you. We've been out there.
is the Mecca.
We got it.
That's
Yeah.
John Smith.
So let me ask you this: So who?
So I just think. Well, hold on, Lauren. What I'm saying is that what I've said this to Rob. What I think is interesting about Army, BYU, they have a culture within the culture of college football. They have their own set of rules and regulations, that they get to, adhere to, a la a religion, a la armed forces, right? These are kind of going to be these schools that harken back to these old school disciplinarian things where a lot of schools may not be able to do that. I'm going to say these schools we're going to see a resurgence of this, of these schools, because their guys don't transfer portal out as much,
right?
I'm going to throw this at you.
Lauren, let me throw this out, and then okay. So this weekend, like you said, play out. You got Indiana at Ohio State.
Yeah.
You got Army.
Yeah.
At Notre Dame.
Yeah.
We know who the underdog is. Which underdog would you say has the best chance to pull it off, or neither?
Who's first?
Army at Notre Dame.
Yeah, I got Army all day.
Okay,
I think Army can pull that off. I'm
taking Notre Dame.
Yeah, you're taking Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think these are the teams that don't seem to, like this is where we're going to start seeing this suss out, right? We're going to see these play out where I think these teams are like everyone's going to start taking these losses. And I think we're going to see the top 10 sort of sort out like we always do. And we're going to get down and we're going to be like, wow, it got really close, a lot closer than we thought, didn't it? Because
scroll back to one. Brendan, can you scroll back to one? I want to look at something. Okay. So, and you talk about Brigham Young, 15, 16 million Mormons in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever, the mothership is Provo, where they are out in Utah.
Provo, Spain.
And I had a friend I worked with for 12 years in the bond business, Jay Stubbs. Jay's dad, Charlie, was quarterback coach at Alabama, 97 to 2000. He played out at Thunderbird High School in Las Vegas. And he's a Mormon. And he said, people could not believe when he walked on, his dad being a coach at Alabama, they said, why aren't you playing for the mothership? I mean, it's like the Catholic pull. I'm Scotch-Irish, Episcopalian, now Catholic. Every Catholic friend I have, there's an and story. I'm a Gator fan and Notre Dame. I mean, in mass, the priest.
Yeah, I'm a Gator fan and anyone who plays Florida State.
Yeah, okay. But there's the and, okay. But let's go back and see it. Number one, Oregon. Matt Dean on our show every Thursday. His son Tyler's in his third year on that staff with Lanny.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, 4 years with Jimbo. Wow, Jimbo. They love him around that house. I can't even say what they say. But Ohio State 2. Here it is. You've got Texas, the highest rated in the SEC. You can't do that. But I'm with you, both of y'all. This stuff will work itself out. But Georgia, it was a public beheading in Austin, what they did to the Longhorns, okay? They couldn't even sell the beef. You couldn't eat it. They did. Penn State, James Franklin is 1-13 against top 5 opposition. Indiana hasn't beaten anyone ranked higher than 58th in the country. Notre Dame's Notre Dame. They're going to be in there. I don't care if there's only 4 teams in the playoff. They'll be the 5th one. That's how it works. You saw Congress moved heaven and earth to get Ohio State in there in the year of the virus when they played 4 games or something like that.
Right.
Alabama right now would beat the hell out of any of those teams.
Are we buying?
Georgia,
are we buying Tennessee?
Miss.
Are we buying Tennessee?
Tennessee's just being Tennessee.
Like
Tennessee,
I mean, yeah, like I
do it every year.
Tennessee, like I don't. I mean, it's like I said, it's going to shake. It's going to
work itself
out.
out.
Down, everybody. It does
and
it
I think
every year.
they're doing it to get people to do what we're doing. That's to talk.
And it's
about
working.
It.
It's working, Rob. It's working. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
you'll be on tomorrow talking about it. It's working.
Yeah,
they're gonna get it within a 12-hour period. They're gonna break it down. But
that's what we love about it.
So let's throw this out. So Indiana, Ohio State. Who you got, Rob?
Ohio State. will win that game.
Yeah.
Handily.
Yeah.
And Brendan, you said you're taking Army over Notre Dame. Or you taking Notre Dame?
No. I was just I was not taking Army over Notre Dame.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm taking Notre Dame.
Okay.
I don't. But you were saying which of the two upsets of the two games?
You would say that Army would have a better chance.
Yes.
Yes. I have a friend.
I don't think they're going to. I'm not saying they're going to upset Notre Dame. Right. But I think if I had to gun to my head, pick one or two, that's the one.
Dave Tompkins, who's on our show with us every week, is the West Point grad, and I'm pulling for him, but I don't see. It's kind of like when Navy played Notre Dame. I was like, but I'm gonna tell you, how exciting is this? Who wants to play Tulane right now?
Yeah,
I'm going back in there after this show. You know what I'm going to watch? Miami of Ohio,
Rudy,
and Northern Illinois. It's on the color TV in the den. Of course, my wife's going to go, "Oh no, you're not. There's 4 other TVs in this house."
Well,
hell
good,
no,
man.
you're not.
So, Rob, who you got on tomorrow?
All right, got a great one in the morning. Jason Caldwell, AU Undercover. Chris Plank Show, sideline reporter on the Sooner Network. Love having him. Dudley Dawson, Hogville.net. Vince Ferrara, the sports animal in Knoxville. And Brendan and I we always do this. We're going to touch on all 16 of the teams. We'll talk Gators. I call it the tectonic plate theory. We're all connected, and man, it gets more fun. I wake up at 4:30 or 5 bouncing off the wall because it is so much fun, and we're so blessed to have a lot of people that like the show. And I got this guy, EPBM. It's what's not to like about
we go with Brendan.
Right. Subscribe to there you go. Sideline Sports Network, which encompasses everything from GatorbaitMedia.com to the Buddy Martin Show to SEC Sidelines. We got it all for you for sure.
We got a fun channel, man.
Thank you no doubt.
Yeah, and vote for my friend Lisa, who's running for the Fab 40 over 40 contest, raising money for breast cancer research. If she wins, she's donating her proceeds to the hurricane victims in Florida. So we are supporting Lisa. Just click on the QR code. You'll see a little vote. You can donate, buy more votes. Help her out. She's our candidate. Vote for Lisa. And don't forget about also.
Speaking of research.
That was a nice segue.
Yeah, there you go.
You guys.
Come on.
Come on, let's do it.
Red Star Medical Research.
All right. Okay. Let's hear it.
Serving Ocala and surrounding areas with clinical trials of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, and other ailments. Red Star Medical Research seeking tomorrow's answers for the questions of today. Shout out to health questions of today.
Let's say it again. 1, 2, 3.
Seeking tomorrow's answers for the health questions of
today.
But shout out to the Brantley family. I get to see, it's amazing. I get to see Scott Brantley every Wednesday in the at the Ocala Quarterback Club, and for those that are real Florida Gator fans, understand what Scott Brantley means to football, Florida football in North Central Florida, and Scott is fighting a good fight. So I want to send a shout out to Scott as well. And great show, guys. Thank you guys for coming on, Rob. Definitely appreciate Quincy Wilson, our producer. The man, Brendan Martin.
Never leave this chair. I'm here all day. Be here in the morning.
Like it is Tuesday. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right here.
Great show.
Good job, everybody.
All right.
Good night, John Boy. Folks. Go Gators.
Hit that like and subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel.
Good night, everybody.
Monday through